Okay, y'all, it's Myra the manager. Y'all should already know at this point. And it's the Black Soil Society, and we finna spit some bars on God, cause my dude's got it.
Welcome to another edition of In the Zone, a very, very special edition of In the Zone, but every edition is special. You know, it's another day in paradise where we get to come through and have great, great conversations. Been a lot of craziness going through this last month, man. We're going to touch on Kiki Palmer, talk about issue one, the very special election coming up. And also, man, we're going to touch into a little bit of cannabis a little bit, man. Just kind of, there's a lot of things that's going into issue one. So really, as you try to put things on the ballot, things that's kind of going into the cannabis world right now. Got a lot of good conversations. But I wanted to bring in a definite expert in all three. My man Double D. And it's even now I'm thinking about it, man. You got two double D's in the room, man. So, man, yeah, just kind of give a brief intro about yourself, man. Let the people know who you are, Doug.
I mean, really, it come down to you already know who I am. Call me Double D, aka Darius. Everybody know. As far as background, man, I done did a lot of stuff into gardening, landscaping, digital arts, graphic design, a whole bunch of stuff. But just real culture when it comes down to it. Period.
Man, that's what we definitely about. Delivering the culture. As I said before, definitely want to bring in a great expert. But as a councilman, want to touch a little bit on politics. And everybody know that an upcoming special election is taking place on August the 8th. And one of the things they're going to be touching upon is issue one. It's only one thing that's on the ballot, issue one. And it's really going to determine on how our constitutional amendments change in Ohio. So not to get too much into the minutia to really bog everybody down, how it kind of works, and that was set in 1912, that if you wanted to change the Constitution in Ohio, obviously you could deliver a piece that goes to the ballot, and then, your state legislators, 50 plus 1, then you can get a constitutional amendment. Right now, the Republicans are trying to sneak it in, whether you think it's right or wrong, that on issue one, they're going to change that. You're going to make it a 60, that you pretty much need 60, 60 votes to get it changed, what they call a supermajority. It's a lot of things that could be affected with it right now. Right now, the main thing, though, they're talking about it from an abortion standpoint. And, they're saying that there's a lot of different type of constitutional changes that are being brought to the forefront, and that's really one of these Republicans to slide this on through, man. Just kind of your thoughts on that, Dub. You know what I mean? Just from a politician standpoint, I know I have my views, but I definitely want to get your thoughts as you think about the political game and how people try to really twist, the rules to try to make sure they get what they want.
To me, it kind of almost feel like electoral votes on a smaller level. You know what I mean? You got a special people that's voting, or we gonna make it a certain type of way where we know we can get enough of our people out here to get what we need done. Even abortion, any other current issue that might even be coming up, I feel like it's almost a way that they can trap and say, this is how we can get this done. We don't need the full percentage to get through. We only need this much, so that's all we can do.
And now, like you said, it really takes the voice away from the everyday person.
Right.
And when it comes down to a lot of different issues, a lot of different important issues, things are coming up all over the place in Ohio, whether it's gambling, which is a big thing that took place that now puts a lot more money into public resources, a lot more money into the economics of Ohio. But that was kind of one of the constitutional changes that took place. We're going to get into talking about cannabis, but that's another thing that they want to talk about, the recreational use of cannabis, and how cannabis has just been introduced in Ohio in itself has been a whole cluster. But but the way now, as you talk about the proper way, allowing people, the residents, the folks from Ohio to really push it forward, it's changing that now. It's just getting to, big corporate dollars who have the resources to make sure that you get that 60 threshold, to make sure you're hitting all 88 counties in Ohio. We're really going to get into this next week, but we definitely want to put that on everybody's thought process. Issue one is coming up on August the 8th, so make sure you get out and vote. Go vote, go vote. Don't boo, vote. I know a lot of folks have a lot of different thoughts on politics, but it's kind of hard to have a thought if you're not going to participate. You know what I mean? So, but any other thoughts on that before we jump into the next piece into it?
Just to reiterate it, vote, 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 vote. I mean, it's the only way that we can even say we have a voice. You know what I'm saying? It's like winning the lottery. You can't play. I mean, you can't win if you don't play. So at least go ahead and put your vote in.
Yeah, man, a lot of folks sacrificed. A lot of folks died. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into the historics and, the cliche, stories that we've been told why you should vote, but it's true though, you know, and it's a lot of sacrifice to be able to allow us to at least have this portion of it. Because if we don't use it, just like any other muscle, man, it's going to atrophy and fall off. And you see right now, Republicans or conservatives, whatever your side of the party is, are using these tricks to try to make sure that they're pushing everything through. So yeah, if you don't want to agree, if you don't agree with it, or if you don't like those views, my man Dub said vote.
Yeah, vote. It costs you $0.
Yeah, just time, and that's and the reason why the process is so outdated or so conservative is because those are the people that's in play. I tell everybody all the time because they try to always talk about Lincoln Heights, or they want to talk about how policies are, or who's gonna fix these streets, or why is this not done. I'm like, well, in order for it to happen, you got to get people in there that care about the same thing that you care about. It doesn't make any sense to sit there and just rap about it amongst your circles if you're not going to participate in the process to change it. Like,
Right.
one thing that cats say to me all the time that I hate is like, man, I'm not into politics, or I'm not a political person. Well, that's crap, because every time you spend your money, you are now involved in the politics. They putting sales tax on everything. Where are those sales tax dollars going to? So, yeah, man, like I said, didn't want to over talk it. Got me a little fired up there on that voting piece, because like I said, man, if you're not gonna play, man, it's kind of hard to sit there and complain about the situation. Right. Talking about folks who are not complaining and just getting stuff done. Small plug to our folks here, our young people who've been working all diligently through the summer. So we partnered with Hamilton County Youth Employment. So right now I got my Stop the Violence shirt on. So we've been working with our young people between the ages of 14 and 22. They come here every day, 9 o'clock, work their butts till 3, and they've been working in the farm. But out of the farm, they created a website. Check out JacksonStreetFarms.com if you want to get some fresh produce, potatoes, lettuce, tomatoes. Go to JacksonStreetFarms.com. You can get those items as well, too. The kids created that. Follow them on social media. But they said they wanted to create something that meant something to their generation. They're like, man, there's so many of them that's getting shot. So much of this, unnecessarily violence that's taking place with guns right now. And we had that issue, too. But it seems like right now it's almost becoming more prevalent with social media, because it's becoming almost like a thing. Right. So they wanted to do a Stop the Violence festival. So it's at Jackson Street Farms Festival. That'll take place on July 27th. That's a Thursday. July 27th from 4 to 8. You have video game trucks. They'll have a lot of archery that'll be there. There's a person that came through who's teaching folks how to do archery that's going to be there. You come through, you can work in the farm, field activities, family fun, food trucks. July 27th from 4 to 8. Make sure you stop on by and check that out. Want to get into, definitely, now we transition out of that, a little bit more of an adult conversation. I want to talk about cannabis a little bit, man, and just kind of a couple things. And the reason I want to talk about it, one of my family members, and it's been a couple of us, this disease that's kind of going around. I don't necessarily call it a disease, but it's what doctors are saying right now, that the indulgence of these new type of cannabinoids that's coming through with this different, weed strains that are taking place right now, that they're affecting some folks. I know one of the terms they're called CVS. I know another term now that just came out now. It's another 3-letter acronym, but I'll make sure I look that up. That causes a lot of vomiting cycles. And then the only thing that kind of fixes it, this hot showers. Hot showers. And they're getting that to talking about these different strains now. They're not really knowing how they're affecting individuals, man. Just kind of get, your thoughts on it, if you have just insight on it.
When it come down to that, what it really is it come down to the breeding. How you might have a CBD strand that really only has CBD and a certain percentage of THC that's probably not even detectable. And on the other side, it's the opposite. So they want straight THC, the highest amount of the psychoactive compound that's inside of cannabis. But to me, now you're pulling away all the other cannabinoids that's inside the cannabis that was actually giving you a beneficial combination of what they want to say an entourage effect.
Yeah, so you're talking about, what's taking place in some of these labs is that the actual sometimes healing effect, or sometimes, beneficial pieces of that was taking place. And THC, what you was hearing about, I've always heard people talking about, I'm just going to take my medicine. I mean, heck, it's medical marijuana.
Right.
But you're saying some of these new strains are actually taking away some of that medical piece. That was saying, right?
Yep.
Man, so
it's more so like say if you got a season, and now you take out everything but the hot pepper in it. Now you just got hot pepper.
Yeah.
You don't have a season. You don't have a flavor. The food is just hot now.
Yeah.
People just looking for the hot food.
And without truly understanding what made the food great in the first place.
Right.
Like, so you might, man, that was a great example, because sometimes with that hot food, the thing that stands out might be the pepper. The garlic might be, undetectable. Not undetectable, but it's, a hint of garlic or a hint of salt. But you're thinking this is the only thing that stands out. And this is kind of the same thing that took place with weed, is that they felt like, I just want to go for the highest of highs. And that's really not why, a lot of individuals, I can't say a lot of individuals, but that's not why some individuals even partake in cannabis. It's not to kind of get the highest of highs. It's for a specific need.
And when it comes down to that, I love that you said the highest of the highs, because that's what I ask people all the time, like, what is being high? Everybody is going to have a different definition for you. Somebody's high might actually be this relaxation that they need because they have some type of seizure ailment or high anxiety or different things like that. But some people might say, I don't like to be like that. That's too high for me. But that might be fixing what somebody else needs. So you have to get down to it and say, what is this person actually looking for?
Yeah. So how would you suggest, especially as we talked about issue 1, and if folks wanted to even put that on the ballot, and if recreational marijuana became something that took place in Ohio, what would you recommend to, just anybody, as you said before, trying to find that fits them? How would they go into that, not making those type of mistakes?
Just doing your overall research, just like you said with issue 1 or anything that's out here in life that you really want to know about. Do your research and do it diligently. Go to multiple sources, compare these sources, see what these different sources are saying. This is how you can kind of weed out what's true and kind of what's not true. You really won't know until you come down and test it for yourself. But these things will kind of lead you in a certain direction, so that it's not like you jumping off the building for your first time or something like that.
Because I know the last conversation we had, our last podcast, we were talking about opioid use, and I told everybody, and it was kind of before it was obviously a thing. This is 2007. Just had major shoulder surgery, and the doctors prescribed me with Vicodins and Percocets at the same time. So I'm taking these things, thinking that and 2 reasons. 1, I'm thinking that's what you're supposed to do, but I'm trying to get back on the field as fast as possible. So those side effects that had on me mentally were just crazy, man. Having suicidal thoughts, you know what I mean? My bowels just completely got messed up, That was a kind of, talk about some stomach issues, but that was really with that crap. But then I'll never forget the first time I hit a joint, and then it was like, man, this whole, the pain is gone, but I'm not having these crazy type of things as well too. That was the first time, as you said before, kind of testing it and seeing how you kind of put that test to your body. But it seems like right now what's kind of taking place is a lot of individuals in the marketplace are almost like test rats, almost lab rats almost, because they're putting all these strains out there, and everybody is kind of seeing what hits, what works, and what's kind of having an effect on different bodies. And there's so much stuff that's getting out there. It's becoming real interesting as we move forward. But yeah.
Yep, and even with you saying that, we really are like lab rats. It's recently, it just passed that other colleges were able to get the permit to actually get cannabis to test and do studies on. I think it was only one school in the whole United States that was allowed to do that. Maybe it was either Alabama or Mississippi, one of the two.
To actually test, because I know that's a big thing now. Processing, research is huge.
Right.
I don't want that one. Hold it. So yeah, man, like you said, it's crazy because you mentioned the weed now is everybody's trying to chase the highest of highs because that's what the